Ms. Karua, good evening and many thanks for joining us on the broadcast tonight. What is your reaction to this ruling by the High Court and what does it mean for Parliament moving forward?
It's a great and welcome ruling. It represents the true position. I have maintained, and Azimio did maintain in the beginning, that it was the majority party. Even in the website of Parliament, it was indicated as the majority party. Then the KK side, Dr. Ruto in particular, wooed members of UDM to begin with, and then of other parties, and without any formal post-election coalition agreement, the Speaker counted them as members of the KK alliance, and then pronounced a misplaced ruling that KK was the majority party in Parliament. Today, the court has called them out, and the truth is out, and has further stated that Speaker Wetangula should not have continued to head a political party once he assumed the Speaker's role in Parliament. That is a seat that should be independent and impartial. And you can see that as a member of the KK Alliance, he gave a ruling that was incorrect, and I would dare say deliberately, and that was partial to the KK Alliance.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that this ruling that, found the Speaker's dual role as both Speaker and party leader of Ford Kenya sets a precedence now for stricter enforcement of separation of, between party politics and parliamentary leadership?
Indeed, if the KK Alliance and in particular Speaker Moses Wetangula are believers in the rule of law, he should choose whether to be Speaker or the leader of Ford Kenya. He can't have both. And he must choose moving forward, being impartial, not Kenyans seeing him atop a vehicle campaigning for a coalition that is in Parliament and then making rulings that are questionable. Partiality is about being, or impartiality is actually being impartial and also being seen to be impartial. Would Kenyans, reasonable Kenyans who see him tagging along partisan politics, believe that he is presiding over the House in an impartial manner? That is the question Speaker Wetangula will have to ask himself.
Mm-hmm. The Kenya Kwanza Party itself has downplayed this ruling by the High Court, insisting that it will not change parliamentary operations. Do you think that they are downplaying or underestimating the impact of the ruling? Do you foresee an actual realignment in the House?
This is impunity. When you downplay a ruling of the court, you are sort of saying utadu. It is impunity. What they need to do moving forward, any party that has an alliance, a backdoor alliance with KK, including ODM, which has donated, as they say, their members to be in government, had better have a post-election coalition agreement, say goodbye to opposition politics, or choose opposition politics and divorce themselves from the government. That is the impact of the ruling. It's not just about Speaker Wetangula. It's about every party following the law, either having a post-election coalition agreement or keeping to your lane. You can't have it both ways. It blurs the line between opposition and government, and therefore destroys the inbuilt checks and balances in our system of government.
Mm-hmm. The school of thought, Ms. Karua, that says that this ruling has been overtaken by events because your party, NARC Kenya, has exited Azimio. And then there's ODM, the dominant party within Azimio, which you rightfully mentioned, seems increasingly aligned with the Kenya Kwanza administration. So there's this ruling, even, the political shifts, do they make this ruling more symbolic than it is impactful?
No, it gives them an awkward moment. It's not overtaken. What it means to believers in the rule of law is shape up or shape out. Decide whether you are government or opposition. And for the KK administration, stop poaching. If you want a political marriage, enter into a legally tenable political marriage, and that is a post-election coalition agreement for members who are not part of your coalition when you assumed office.
All right.
That's the long and short of it. Yeah.
So let's talk about this gray area then that ODM finds itself in, because it is officially still part of Azimio, but many ODM members of parliament are openly supporting Kenya Kwanza policies. In fact, this ruling by the High Court, in this majority, counts members of parliament who, while they came into power through the Azimio party, really are openly supporting Kenya Kwanza policies. So does this mean that ODM is now effectively part of government?
That's what I'm saying. They are part of government through the back door. They're trying to have their cake and eat it. On one hand, admitting that they went to help KK. On the other hand, claiming to be opposition. Individual members can be claim to be in opposition. But overall, they are part of government, and it's good that we play open and honest politics. They should sit down and internally resolve which way, so that it's either government or opposition, but not both ways. And the Constitution is very clear, and that is what the court has interpreted the Constitution and the law to be. Therefore, they should obey.
As we wind up, Ms. Karua, some argue that Kenya is heading towards a de facto one-party state, where opposition leaders and members of parliament are absorbed into government interests. Do you share this concern?
No, I don't. I am a Kenyan. I'm not anywhere near the rogue KK regime. I'm in opposition, and there are many, many Kenyans. Even those who are in KK are the ones today, like we saw in Isiolo, shouting, Ruto must go. Therefore, I believe a majority of Kenyans are looking for how to exit. And I believe that the opposition is there to stay, but the seats of opposition should not be occupied by people who have one leg in government and one leg in opposition. Let us obey the law, and everything will clarify itself. Those who have a desire to return to one party are daydreamers. Kenyans will not allow, and we will not allow dictatorship. So I have said often, William Ruto is an apprentice for dictatorship, being taught by some of our neighbors, but as Kenyans, we must not allow him to graduate. Kenya will remain a multi-party state, just as the Constitution says.
Ms. Karua, many thanks for your time tonight and for speaking to NTV.